Oh, and we're deep in the blue once again because, ladies and gents, it's time. It's time for that tiger time. And when it's tiger time, it's revenge time. And when it's revenge time, it's comic book time. This is BTR, and I am comic book creator Ted Galusha. And the guy sitting just digitally to my left, the man you love, the man I love to hate, the bearded one, the big guy, the big dog, the man, the myth. You know him, Big Bry. How's it going, Big Bry?
Pretty good. I give you probably a 9.2 out of 10 on that intro. It's pretty good.
That
Pretty
was
good.
one of my better intros in a long time. You know,
Yeah.
I'm in a good mood. Just took the missus out for a drink at a new
Nice.
restaurant here in Anchorage. We had a good time. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's humid as fuck, but we're here. And I couldn't imagine being anywhere else right now because we got a big episode, man. My boss is technically coming on the show.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, and I am pumped. It's going to be great. It's going to be
I'm
great.
looking forward to it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Jamie Rich, the myth, the legend.
I think 90% of my questions are going to be like, this guy, Tad, really? You didn't have
there was nobody else, really?
Nobody else was available, huh?
All right.
Wow.
I guess we're okay. That's what you really want to do.
Yeah. Let's
be
your choice. All right.
99% of your question can be like, so what was it like changing the direction of the Ninja Turtles? Tell me everything.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But we're coming off, we had a little BTR excursion, a little Blue Tiger vacay, if you will.
And as per normal, as per usual, every time we're together, we never fucking record.
Didn't record. We sat in a room.
Yeah.
Completely just wasted by the day, a couple of wastoids.
Yep.
And we were like, should we record? And we both went, we'll record later in the week.
Yeah. Typical.
But give the Cubs a rundown of what we were doing over this last weekend.
Yeah, we were in lovely, smoky, very smoky.
The Smoke Show. Welcome to the show, baby.
We were in Yakima for FanFest Northwest. It's a local Comic-Con that they have in Yakima. It was their second one, and it's actually a fundraiser for a local nonprofit over there called Rod's
House. Yeah.
Rod's House. Yeah. So really cool event.
All the proceeds go towards basically young people struggling with homelessness and addiction issues. So, I mean, if you're going to be a guest at a con, like, it's a pretty great thing to be a part of, in my opinion.
Yeah, and everybody, all the staff who were there from Rod's House, who were putting on the convention, which we found out it was just 3 of them putting on this show. Great people. Yeah, we salute you, and you did a heck of a job. So,
yeah, and it was a bit of a strange, like, I kind of felt like we were stuck in a little bit of like uncanny valley, right? Because Yakima itself is just like it's a different animal compared to the cons that you're normally at. But you and I, like, we went on like little excursions, little walkabouts through the town.
We did.
We went to the first night we were there, we went to some like 1950s steakhouse out in the middle of some farm fields, where we were by far, there was like the youngest.
There
was somebody
like 20 years. By 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, there was like a group celebrating like grandpa's 101th birthday or some crazy stuff, you know? and then there's us, but it was like, hey, let's get some prime rib. Let's do it. And it
was good.
It was good.
Rib.
Didn't cost anything, right?
No.
I mean, it was kind of nuts.
Great price. And also shout out to the first place I took you. Yeah, Comics, man. One of my it's clearly not just the best comic shop in Yakima. It's definitely the best comic shop in Yakima by far.
You found that out firsthand. Yeah, definitely.
I found that out the hard way. But I think it's one of my favorite shops, just period.
Yeah, and the staff, I can't remember the guy who owns it. What was his name?
Owen, shout out.
Owen. Yeah, man. Like, God, talk about just like the hookup, right? And once we got talking with him, like he took us into the back, showed us all the like stuff that they're sorting through, everything that they got going on there. And it was a pretty you know, impressive operation, especially for a comic shop that is doing its business in back issues, you
Yeah,
know? Yeah,
yeah,
that's a pretty rare thing. I feel like the safer
it
move,
is.
right, is just like Funko's, whatever's coming out from Marvel DC right now. That
Yeah,
guy was like, "No, no, no. I got everything."
and he did, and he did. The
Yeah.
cool thing was too, like, I went there a year ago, um, about this time a year ago, for the first time, and then, I went there a couple times while I was there, and then I saw him again at, one of the Frankenstein comic shows that they have down in Portland,
Oh, yeah,
and,
that's right.
yeah, he remembered me. He was like very specifically commenting on, I sold him a couple of books, and then he was like, "I should have bought all the books you were selling. I couldn't believe it." Like, he remembered me to a T. It was pretty sweet. It was cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you later went and dropped off some, signed copies of Showdown for me while I was at
Yeah.
the show and everything,
Yep.
like, um it was a cool experience, and I feel like his prices on some like the books we got, he cut us, like, unbelievable deals, and, you know, I'm not a collector, I'm all
Yeah.
about readers, and I just felt like, he was, like, working to hook you up with cool
Yes.
shit, which is, like, what you kinda want from places like that,
It
right?
is. And I remember when the first time I talked to him, a year ago, I mean, that's what he said he loved doing. He's like, he loves buying books more than he loves selling them. He loves getting stuff in and getting stuff to readers, to
Yeah.
people to enjoy. And, talk about a collection that he has. I
Oh,
mean, he's got, if you go into the back, I mean, just shelves and shelves of long boxes that aren't even out on the floor. It's
yeah.
insane the amount of books that this guy has. And, if you're looking for a specific book, chances are he's probably got it. He's probably has it.
Yeah. And if he
And
doesn't have it, he knows a way to get it for you.
yeah,
It was pretty it was it was one of the better comic shop experiences I've had in a long time.
yeah.
Um,
It's
just
it's how
because
comic shops are supposed to be.
yeah, we're like when we said, "Hey, we're hunting," he's like, "Let me know. When you're done hunting and you need some help, I'll be ready to rock."
Yeah.
And so he kinda, like, let us do our thing, and then as soon as we were ready to, like, talk some shop, man, he was, like, there,
Yep.
and I mean,
Oh,
shoot, we might even be doing some stuff with him in the future, we don't know.
I hope
Maybe we'll
so.
be doing some live podcasts, maybe
As
doing
soon
some
as
little comic
as
events.
soon as I walked in the store, do you remember he was like, "You want the turtle books?" And he walked into the back and pulled out 2 long boxes for me to sift through. So, like, uh,
Yeah, that was
yeah,
a year ago he saw you. That's
year ago.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that that's a dude who knows what he's doing, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, they always say remember everybody's name. That guy remembers names, faces, addresses, like what your interests are. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, again, very cool experience. And then the convention, I feel like it wasn't like a blow your hair back like just thousands of people. Like it was kind of I think
No.
someone called it a sleepy con,
It
but
was, and I wanna preface though, that was by no fault of the folks who were running the show, and I know
no, they
you
of
were yeah, I know you don't think that either. That was by no fault of the
course
folks
not.
running the show. I think it was,
Well, there
all
was
the flyers.
multiple events going on. They had to switch dates from last year, right? They usually do
Yeah,
this in what, October?
October. Yeah,
October, and they couldn't get the date, so they had to switch, uh, like, not last minute, but, we talked to so many people that were like, "I thought this was in October," you know?
yeah,
And it was interesting, like, it was kind of a quiet con, but the one thing that's really good about those is you get a ton of, like, one-on-one time with people,
right.
and, man, we got to meet some really great families who had and got to spend time with, like, some kids that were like, there was I can't remember the family, but I
Had
think they were school
twelve-year-old girl who was writing
yeah,
her own comic, writing and drawing her own comic and telling us all about it, about a black girl in the '30s who was a former
yeah,
school, like, it was insane.
yeah, had all this backstory and research, and she was 12, and then not only did she tell us about it, but then she had, like, a ton of questions for me on,
Yeah,
like, recommendations for self-publishing, for structuring the story
Yeah.
and this and that, the strengths that she brought to the table and what she felt were her weaknesses, which she was like, one, so impressive that she was 12 and had that kind of forethought because
Right.
she, at 12, I was just like, who do you think wins in a fight? Like that's where my
Yeah.
brain went to,
Yeah.
let alone like structuring a novel
Brett
series
Mike
or
or, Bret Hart's retiring? What? That was all you
this
were
is
thinking of.
ridiculous. They
Yeah.
screwed over Brett. They can't do that. HBK is a dirtbag. Yeah.
That was you at 12 years old.
Oh, 1000%. Yeah. Oh man. 1997 was a very intense year for me. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but no, so like you got that kind of stuff. Then we got to be just like a whole like cabinet of interesting people. And then Sunday afternoon it like picked up really good and we actually sold out of some stuff. So it
Yeah.
was one of those where like, yeah, it wasn't one of those where you're walking away with like trash bags full of cash, which I know some people that were there wanted. Um,
Sure.
yeah, we don't need to go into details on
It's fine.
that.
Yeah.
But I feel like for guys like us, like that's what it's all about is like having those like real experiences with fans
Mhm.
and I had a guy drive all the way from I think he drove from like Spokane or something just to have me sign a book. He drove really far
Yeah,
to
and
have me sign a book.
you got 2 of your Turtles covers and to have you sign. Yeah.
Yeah, which and do, like, a little sketch, which he was, like,
Yeah.
ready to, like, pay a bunch of money for, and I'm like, "Dude, the fact that you traveled to get here for this, like, don't you're not paying money for that, like, for me to sign a book, that's crazy."
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it was, and then plus we just got to, like, hang out. We got to just kinda, like, shoot the shit for, like,
Yeah.
days on end, which was kinda nice.
It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got to go to, like, some cool little small town diners and all that kinda stuff, which I don't know about you, I love that kinda stuff.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah, it's just chill. But no, it was a good time. It was a really good time. But enough of that. I think we need to take before we jump in with our with my boss, with my good friend.
Boss. Yeah.
Yeah. We need to take a trip to the trailer park
Okay.
because you watched a pretty big movie recently. Maybe
I
some
did.
say the biggest. It sounds
I
like
did.
might be
It's
breaking all the
it's
records.
good. It's I think it's on its way. I don't know if it's gonna get there or not, but yeah, I saw, when we were
I
in
mean,
San Diego.
it's like the largest opening of all time, right? Something like that.
Believe so, yeah. Time will tell if it'll be the biggest box office or not, but,
Yeah.
yeah, when we were in San Diego, we had an off day, and, we went and saw the new Spider-Man on opening day. What a
Wow.
movie, man. What a movie. I
Break
th
it down. Break it down. The only thing I know about is from the trailer where they show the classic they did the cover homages.
Yeah, and that was that was in the very beginning of the movie, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, it's like, "Oh, wow, you're respecting source material. Sweet.
Huh.
Awesome." It's crazy.
Feel
Uh,
like there's another big franchise or another big company out there that might not be doing that very well.
well, I don't know what they're doing, but we'll
We'll
get to
get into
that.
that.
We'll get into that. I thought it might be the best Spider-Man movie that they've made, period.
Shut the
Could be
door.
could be
Shut the
recency
door.
bias. I don't know. I thought it was definitely the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. Um,
Really?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now,
By far.
why do you think why would you say that? Because 'Cause they're all pretty great structurally,
They are.
like
They are
characters,
really great.
but from a Tom Holland specifically as an actor, why do you think so?
Because I think it dove into being lonely, right? And being lonely, and it's still having this great responsibility that you have to do while the rest of your life is falling apart.
Yeah.
So, like, he's Spider-Man, super successful, everybody loves him, but then his personal life, it fell apart, he doesn't have one, and then he has to cope with that, dealing with the new mutation in his body that's happening, right?
Yeah.
And it really they do a good job of mirroring that with Jean Grey, played by Sadie Sink, which
Which is an
was
interesting choice to bring Jean Grey into a Spider-Man movie, but it
it
seems
worked
like
though.
it
It
worked really
worked.
well.
It worked
Yeah.
really well. And who crushed it by that? That was also the worst kept secret as soon as I saw her I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's Jean Grey. Like, come on, who
Yeah.
else is it going to be? We already know they're going to be making X-Men soon.
Yeah.
It's going to be Jean Grey. It's got to be. Uh, Also, I thought the inclusion of Punisher was really well done,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like a goofy cartoon character Punisher. Like, you could see him coming out of Daredevil and still being the same Punisher, because sometimes when you go from a rated R thing to a PG-13, they like kid it up a little bit.
Like they did
And
with Daredevil in the She-Hulk series. They went
yes,
from a very intense show, and then all of a sudden it's kinda like, haha, funny, goofy, kind of Matt Murdock,
it,
and you're like, "What the fuck?"
there were funny moments with him, but it felt real. It felt like a natural
Yeah.
uh switch, right? Or not a switch, but a natural progression.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
was like the Punisher was literally his only friend in the movie.
Oof. That's a bad social life, man. Like,
Right.
you're fucking up if, like, Frank Castle's like, Frankie's your guy. Like,
He's your
"Oh,
guy. He's your only
hey,
friend.
kid, there's some drug dealers over here. I'm gonna go kill 'em. You wanna come?" Oh, don't Frank, don't. Please don't.
Don't kill him, please. Just let's stop him, but don't
It's you
kill
know
him.
what? Frank is the Spider-Man what Big Red is the BTR.
Agreed. Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah. Except
"Oh."
Punisher is way cooler, probably taller,
Well,
definitely
we know
taller,
definitely taller. We come on.
more hair,
I
more
well,
hair.
up top, the
Yeah.
body-wise, no.
No.
Big
Okay.
Red, just fuzzy body.
Um, Marvel, you know what? Was probably my favorite part of the movie was
The
Marvel
Hulk the
finally.
Hulk just
Yeah, they did him justice after years of
just
neglect and that smart
nerf.
Hulk
You know what the kids
bullshit.
call him? Nerf it. They
Nerfed
nerfed
him.
him for
Yeah.
years. Like they did in the
Yeah.
'90s. They nerfed his ass. It's
Well, it's
horrible.
cool because they had because it starts with Jean Grey mind controlling him,
Yeah.
and then when she's mind controlling him, he's smart Hulk. But what that does is that pisses real Hulk off, and he kicks her out and turns into like
Dude,
Gray Hulk.
last I checked, Hulk is the strongest one there is. How many
Yes,
times does he gotta say it?
I don't know. I don't know. And they don't do the thing where like, oh, because it's a Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man has to defeat the Hulk. No, he gets his ass beat by the Hulk.
Thank God. 'Cause, I mean, I know that's a spoiler and everything, but that always makes me angry when they do that. That makes Tad angry, is when they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're a guest in this guy's franchise, so you have to lose by default." This isn't a Hulk Hogan pay-per-view, man, okay? Like,
No,
you're
they do the
losing.
thing where, I mean, the only reason Spider-Man doesn't die is because Hulk recognizes him and like lets go.
He lets go of puny Spider-Man.
Puny Spider-Man. Yeah. But no, he looked great, man. The Hulk scenes were
Dude, just
amazing.
give me a Hulk movie where he's just being an asshole and trashing everything. That would
We need
make me
World War
so
Hulk,
happy.
dude. World War how That's an Avengers level threat, dude. World War Hulk. Come on.
And he wins,
Yeah,
essentially. I mean,
yeah,
I think he does that. Doesn't at the end, doesn't he just stops, right?
something like that. I don't
I
remember.
mean, he
Some
bitched
nerd is probably like screaming at us right now for not
Cheeto
remembering.
dust, Cheeto dust. But
Yeah.
yeah, who cares? I want World War Hulk. They don't have, you know what? They don't have the balls to do World War Hulk.
Kevin Feige, give us a call, man. We'll do it right.
John Favreau, I'm calling
Yeah.
you out, dude. What
Yeah.
happened? This was the guy who played Rocky Marciano, guy from, Swingers, and
Mhm.
you don't have the balls to do World War Hulk. Come on, dude.
Well, he's
Come
in
on.
charge of Star Wars now, not Marvel, but
I bet
still.
he's still in the
He's got some pull,
MCU.
man. He made
He's got
Iron
some
Man, dude.
sway. Come on. Yeah,
Yeah.
he made Iron Man. He
Yeah.
played Happy. He could do whatever he wants.
That's
Like,
true.
do it. World War Hulk. And
That's
then
true.
we have a conversation. Some Cap Wolf. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there.
Or, any
Don't
chance you get.
little rewrite. The only way they can stalemate World War Hulk is, Cap takes the serum.
Cap
Injects it.
Cap Wolf, as the kids say, is getting dog walked by World War Hulk. Literally.
You know what? Yeah, he is getting dog walked. He's getting dog walked.
You know what's funny though? I guess I'm gonna talk about it right now,
Hmm.
is the same weekend. So you had, um, Spider-Man breaking all of these records, right?
Yeah.
Um, the same time that was happening, do you know what do you know what DC was do you know what the big DC announcement was?
Wait. Look, can we do so that happened. New Doom
Yeah.
trailer. Also, they announced the X-Men cast, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna compare. Let's just
Yeah.
kinda put it all in the same
Okay.
this is
Okay.
this is what Marvel's rolled out, which everyone was like, "Marvel's dead," and then they have 1 week where everyone's like, "Never mind. They're
Yeah.
back and better than ever. I
I mean, that's
changed
what they
say."
do. That's what they do.
Yeah, they make you think that like, we're done. Ouch." And then switch it up.
I mean, it's Spider-Man and the Avengers, it's kinda hard to fuck
So what
those up,
so what
you
what
know?
was DC like? Oh, yeah, watch
Well
this, guys.
well, you had Supergirl become the I think it was, like, the biggest superhero bomb ever,
Oh,
which bummed me out, like,
yeah, because I saw
I
Elektra. Like,
yeah,
that's sad.
and
That
I saw
sucks.
Supergirl, we saw Supergirl,
Oh, yeah. How was Supergirl? I don't think we reviewed that on here. That was a while back.
it
Because I
was
think
mid.
because I remember last time we were on here, I think it was the Lieber episode, right?
Yeah,
You talked about how, like, "I think it'll be alright, but I could see where there could be some problems. These are the things that people are saying." And then you
yeah,
watched it, and you were like,
and the things that those people were saying, 100% true, 100% true.
they where it
Um,
just felt like a
it
B tier blockbuster movie that you're like, "What
B-tier
are you doing?"
blockbuster movie, like, um, simple plot, generic villain.
Yeah.
Um, I will say, I thought Millie Alcock was great as
What about
Supergirl.
Lobo? Was Lobo? Because that was the thing I was the most
He was
jacked
cool.
about.
He was good. A little cartoony, though. He was a little cartoon it was a
They
little
always do that with him. They always make
over
him.
the top,
Yeah, like, tone him down. We don't
but it was cool. I liked Lobo. Um,
did you well, so okay.
the
Mo
CG well, hold on, I'm gonna keep going for a minute. The
Okay.
CGI wasn't that great. Um, I like the action scene, the final action scene was better, but there was, like, scenes in the movie where they were doing it from the young girl's perspective. There was, like, a bar fight with Supergirl,
Yeah.
and they showed it all from the young girl's perspective, so it was just the young girl hiding under essentially under a table, and we're watching bodies fly everywhere around her, and we're not actually getting to see the fight. I
Which
wanna see the fight, man. Like,
there's ways you can do I feel like you can make that device work, right? Because 'Cause we've seen that in movies before, but you still have to show the fight. You have to show Supergirl throwing the guy or punching the gal or something.
here's what it was, man. It really reminded me of like, hey, we want to make this like a Guardians movie.
That was the biggest, thing that
And
people were complaining
the
about.
music choices were really bad.
Oof.
Um and you want to know why Guardians worked? I'm going to tell you why Guardians is it worked one because it's a good movie, right? It's a good movie. But it
Yeah.
also worked because we already had Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, the
Mm.
Avengers. We already had all of those things. Like the universe was already established,
Yeah.
right? And I like Supergirl, but nobody is gonna give a shit about these movies. You have to build up the universe. You have to build up Superman. We already did that. Granted, Superman,
It's
I'm not
great.
gonna say it was a great movie, did not do as well as it should have done in the box office.
Yeah.
Um, that is what it is. You know, I care more. It was a good movie. I really enjoyed it. But
Yeah. It was a strong outing. I mean, because like, you could say, like, Captain America was not a good movie, that first one.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. But you have Superman. The next movie should be either Batman or Wonder Woman. That
Okay.
is the logical choice. Like, you have
What about, like,
3
Green Lantern? Because he's in the big 5, right?
he's in the big 5, but he's not in the big 3.
Yeah,
The
that's
big
true.
3 of DC is Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman.
Yeah.
Period. Period. Why are you not starting your movies off with these heavy hitters to build up to the Justice League And then after Justice League, that's when you bring in Supergirl, you bring in some of these other characters that
Well, it
are
seemed like they were
powerful.
doing that because the first movie was Superman, right? Like, that was
It
like
was the first movie, but it wasn't the first project in DC. The first DC project was fucking Creature Commandos, and then Peacemaker, and then Superman.
that's true.
And
Peacemaker season 1 was great. Season 2 was, like, kinda like, "What are we doing?" If I'm being
yeah,
honest. It was pretty boring.
and and
Creature
you know,
Commandos was not like,
I
it was enjoyable, I guess.
it was enjoyable, but, like, and even Green Lantern, like, I'm very excited to watch Green Lantern when it debuts tomorrow, because 'cause we're recording on a Saturday. First episode drops tomorrow. I'm excited for it, but also,
Yeah.
why are we making one of the biggest DC superheroes an adults-only TV show on a subscription service? When you're
Uh,
starting out your universe, like, say what you want, like the Marvel shows, they've
mhm.
had their universe well established before they dove into
Yeah,
Wanda,
if you think about it, because
right?
really big TV show they did, right, was it Agents of Shield? And that was
Agents
kind of like an after thing, like, it had a few recognizable characters from the movies, but it wasn't something that you needed. It was, like, kind of like an extra, like, if you're
you didn't need
really invested, you could
you didn't
watch it.
need it. And it
Yeah,
and when did it debut? After Avengers.
way
After
after Avengers, right? It was like, "Oh,
so
these things were successful, people want more. Here's a
yeah,
TV show that kind of fleshes out a little bit more of the world, shows some
yeah,
more, like, B, C-list characters, like
yeah,
Ghost Rider was their big one."
yeah.
Um Yeah, that's an interesting point. Not saying that there's like it's one of those things where I don't think there's any necessarily right way to necessarily like launch a universe, but there's certainly wrong ways. And it just feels like some of the stuff they're doing is
Like,
it's feeling kind of like you're saying, making some of the same mistakes just in a different route, right? Where like before you had the Batman, you had you had the Justice League movies, but everything was so rushed to like catch up with
it was
Avengers.
rushed, it was, great, big, bold ideas that were poorly executed,
And
um,
they rushed him out the door, right?
rushed.
Like, to get him out instead of, like, building it up like they did,
But
like, Endgame,
now you're
you know?
overcorrecting, you're in the overcorrecting of, like,
Yeah.
and
They
and
just it seems like they're either way too far to the on one side or way too far to the other instead of finding just this nice middle path of, like, yeah, like you said, like, let's do the stuff that's recognizable, but do some really interesting things with it so we
sure,
can build up, bring in some other characters that maybe are lesser known, but could be big factors, and then
and I
build toward something larger or just do nothing but great standalones. I think that's what DC should do. They're like the king of the miniseries, right? Vertigo, all the Vertigo stuff and all that. Like,
yeah,
just
but
run
when
with
you're
that, man.
I mean, you're trying to build when you're trying to build out, you can't call it your cinematic universe, like, you're calling it your
Ar
cinematic universe, but, like, what's
Yeah.
coming out next for DC? You've got their big announcement the same weekend Spider-Man broke all those records was casting for the Jimmy Olsen TV show.
Hey, what
Like,
an Eisner. How dare you? That's my cover artist you're talking shit on there.
no, I'm not. The Jimmy
I'm just
Olsen
joking.
TV show, man, not
I
the
know, I'm
comic.
just joking. Jimmy
Yeah,
Olsen,
yeah,
Jimmy Olsen won a big the Collective book won an
it did,
Eisner, right?
which is
Which
great.
is really
Congrats.
great. Yeah, and it's like
But
Probably Lieber's like one of his biggest projects in a while.
absolutely,
But
absolutely, but nobody gives a shit about a Jimmy Olsen TV show,
yeah,
man. Like,
yeah.
no, like, I'm sorry, like, it doesn't
I wonder if it was
that's your big announcement?
just the timing just didn't match up. That
Well,
was I mean, did they have any other big announcements during San Diego?
no, they weren't even there.
That's so weird.
They weren't even there,
'Cause,
and
like, at, like, because DC had such strong, like, what was the convention they did, down in LA back
so, like,
earlier this summer?
SPX
Which one?
was it no, not SPX, it was,
The one that was for all the comic shops, right?
Comics Pro.
Comics Pro. Like, DC had this great showing there, right? They
They're
previewed all these great books that were coming. I know
they're
that
doing their comics right, man. They're
the
doing their
movies and the
comics
comic Yeah, I know those are separate, but it's just interesting that, like, Marvel wasn't even like, they were there, but they didn't announce anything big. DC had a
yeah,
big rollout for that, and then San Diego, they were mostly quiet. They had some cool comic stuff come out, right? They did really well at the Eisners. Daniel
Yeah.
Warren Johnson's one shot.
Yeah.
Batman, Absolute Batman won an Eisner, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I mean, they did really great. And then it was like, it's just been quiet. And I don't know if that's maybe because so much was predicated on Supergirl doing well. I mean, who knows what's really going on over there, right? But
Yeah.
it's not, it seems like with all the hustle that they had and it just seems like everything's kind of coming out with a fart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we're getting the next. We had Supergirl, and now we're getting a Green Lantern TV show, which looks cool.
It'll be
Looks.
great. I think the show's going to be great, honestly.
I do too. I do too. But then the next thing we're getting a Clayface movie. So we're getting a Batman villain before we're getting Batman.
I will say
And
this though, that Clayface trailer was fucking sick.
oh, it looks awesome. It
Like
looks awesome.
it's kind of given me like it's weird, right? Because I feel like the Batman universe is doing kind of like what Sony did, but way better. Where like that first Batman movie that came out a couple years ago, right, with
Yeah.
Pattinson, great. Pattinson's gone on to do since then just kill it in the box,
Yeah.
like with amazing movies. Like people are now
Yep.
like, oh, the Twilight guy is an amazing actor. He's got
Yeah.
another movie coming out where he plays Chris Hansen, which looks
Oh, I
fucking
can't wait for
amazing.
that one. Yeah.
Awesome. And then the new Batman is coming out in like another year. But then they'd had the Penguin spinoff on HBO, right? Which was
Yep.
a great show. Now they're doing this Clayface movie. It's a movie, right?
Yeah, but the Clayface movie takes place in James Gunn's DCU. It's a DC movie. It's not a Robert Pattinson Batman
I
in
kind
that.
of it looks too dark. I almost want it to stay in that universe with Penguin and stuff, right?
It's
Like that would be
not.
better. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's all over the place. It makes you wonder. It's one of those things where like I wonder if it's Gunn because we know he's super talented. He's very good at what he does, right? He has
Absolutely.
very like strong, succinct ideas, kind of like Chris Nolan or some of these other directors who are very
Sure.
like, no, this is the project I want to make. I wonder if it's just one of those like corporate is stepping in and going like, yeah, that's great, but we're going to do this. If you can do it, but you got to do it like this. And he has to play ball. Like people forget.
I
Remember when the second release of Justice League came out and he was like, I saw it. It's the best movie I've ever seen.
That was
It's going to
Flash.
change
That was
the game.
Flash. That was the Flash.
Oh, the Flash, right?
That was the Flash.
And
Yeah.
then that came out and everyone was like, what? So I just wonder. I wonder what's going on. I don't know. I mean, I don't care about any of it really. Like, it's kind of just fun to like talk about it, but it does like there's a lot of people. This is very important stuff to them.
I guess my thing is like, I think one of the things that makes James Gunn a good like filmmaker and specifically like a comic filmmaker is he loves all of these obscure characters and he brings them to
Mhm.
life and gives them new popularity, brings them new fans. But I also feel like when you are in charge of the big universe, I feel like that can be a detriment
Yeah.
because it feels like
Do you think that's what's actually happening though? I mean, we don't
I don't
really know. We don't know.
know.
It's all
I don't know,
speculation, right?
but I feel like, it feels like Batman and Wonder Woman are put on the back burner here, where
Well, I
and
think they need to be careful the way they do Wonder Woman because, like, Wonder Woman, that first movie did really good. People were really like pumped about it, even though, like, I personally I didn't think it held up real well. Like, I didn't.
sure,
It wasn't a movie that like I
I
like
thought it
the
was great
idea.
until the final fight. Everything up until the final battle was awesome.
Yeah, I guess is like I don't know. I wanted them to break the traditional mold of like having a Victoria's Secret type supermodel
Sure.
playing Diana. I wanted more of, I guess, like a physical type presence, something that was more embodying like of a the strong female prototype. I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah, don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, they kind of did like the cliche. And then the second movie came out, and I know a lot of people were like, "No, it's good," but then it was like, "Well, but it's not as, it didn't follow the same kind of, I don't know, it was just, anyways, it had its issues." And so I wonder if maybe they're just being really like careful. And I wonder if maybe something was like, "Oh, Gunn, you're really good at taking ideas, left field out ideas, and making them very mainstream and very marketable and giant components. And I wonder if that was what he was asked to do, instead of just rolling out the big 2 or the big 3, you know what I mean?
Maybe. I mean, that could be, but I
Because
mean,
that
if
because
that's
you could see that being a strong strategy, right? Like, you could see that
but it's
working.
not, but it's backfiring. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
if that's the strategy, it backfired big time.
I mean, well, yeah, obviously, I honestly, I kinda it might be just kind of the DC problem, right? Of, like, DC stuff, except for the bat, it has a hard time translating to film, where, like, in it when it first hits, like, a lot of times, like, fans are, "Oh, this is epic," right? But then when you go back to it, like, look at, that first Justice League movie. Man, they had their diehards, but, whew, it just didn't age really well, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, I was one of them, so I do agree.
Yeah. Or even, like, the Wonder Woman movies. Now, like, you don't see people talking about those movies a lot. They're not, like, clamoring to do a rewatch on those 2 Wonder Woman movies. Not saying
No.
they were terrible movies,
The second one was pretty terrible.
it was bad. I mean,
Yeah.
Gal Gadot she just can't act,
Can't
man.
act.
She can't.
You know what? Just give me someone who's a good actor for Wonder Woman in the next one who can
I
actually
told who was the actress I was saying? Katie O'Brien, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah.
She'd be
She
the
would be
best
good.
one. She'd be amazing. She can act her ass off. She looks the part. She's tall. She's this, like, strong but beautiful, like, statuesque, like,
Yeah.
she looks like, I don't know, who is the goddess of war, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Tina?
that
Yeah.
Athena, yeah, she has this Athenian presence about her that I think you could cast her, and, like, and she's just like she's super engaging on film, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I can't remember, she's in something right now, but she's I don't know, I think that she's a really just great actress that she could fill the role, and maybe she is being eyed for it, maybe it's like who knows? We'll never know.
Yeah. Who knows?
But,
But
I
yeah,
mean,
those are the
honestly, I don't really care because I don't even, like, watch any of these movies. It is interesting because, like, so much of the industry, this is the face. The films are the face of the industry, and it brings in so many young people that it
yeah.
opens the doors to comics, and so I think it's very important to, like, at least pay attention
Well,
to it.
dude, that's my niece, man. One of my nieces was here and, loves Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Seen all the Tom Holland movies, just saw the new one, came over wearing a Spider-Man hoodie and but had never read a comic, so we took her to the comic shop
Wow.
and, I got her 3 Spider-Man graphic novels. I was like, "Here, I can't." I was like, "You love Spider-Man, you've never read a comic.
Wow.
Um,
I hope she likes him.
I I can't let that stand. So
No,
here
no,
here."
no. Yeah. Um, I guess the other big thing that kinda came out that was revealed was the AI, for Lobo's design,
Yeah.
which I saw somebody I can't remember who posted, I apologize, I'm stealing this from I think it was, Mike was it Mike Cho? I think he wrote something about it, but, I can't remember who it was. Anyways, uh why not just have, like, someone like Alex Horley, like, mock up a bunch of paintings if you're confused on how to look or just, like I mean, Mike, you could argue that Alex Horley does one of the best Lobos,
Yeah.
like, ever. His cover work is phenomenal. Not that and, like, that's what he does for a living is he does conceptual design for, I think, like, I think it was, like, Magic and, like, Warhammer or something like that, or Dungeons& and Dragons. I can't remember, but he works
Mhm.
primarily, I think, these days as a concept designer. And it's just one of those like, why are you doing AI? Why are we doing this? And trying to be all hush hush about it,
Yeah.
especially like when, the company on the face is like, fuck AI. And then it turns out they're using AI, it's like, uh,
It's a bad look. It's a bad
super
look.
bad look. I mean, let's be realistic. That's what all the companies are doing, like, especially in film, because it's instant. It's right there. They can just take a photo of Momoa and be like, make him Lobo, to make him Lobo with fangs, make him Lobo with long hair,
Right.
short hair, bow, like, but it does make you like, dude, really? Like, the comics are there, just waiting to be looked at,
Yeah.
please. Like,
Yeah.
I just
I
couldn't
totally
imagine having more source material in the world and then being like, ah. Those guys don't know what they're doing. It's only 40 years of
that's been the DC problem.
Yeah, it seems like it, where then Marvel is almost like the opposite, where they're doing Easter eggs from stuff that happened. Did you see in the back of of timestamp this in the Ant-Man 2, they reference Spider-Man issue 237, and they've got
Yeah.
this scene from this panel there, and the hardcore fans
And,
are like, "Oh my God." And
and
that's what
that's
you
not to
want.
say Marvel has made all bangers. I mean, up until their last phase that they just ripped out, up until Spider-Man, has been pretty bleh. So
Yeah. And I mean, hey, listen, like, I feel like when you hit a certain high, it's really hard to keep that magic,
yep.
and because every movie's expected. Like, are those movies great? No. But are they horrible? No, they're still watchable. I mean, like, go back and watch stuff from the early 2000s. Like I
Yeah,
referenced earlier, Elektra. I know people love Ben Affleck, but people forget he did the worst Daredevil thing you've ever seen in
he
your
did.
life.
Although Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin was legit.
Super legit. He might have been the only legit thing in that
Agreed.
entire movie. And yeah, like, ugh, and Elektra got a spin-off. Like, are you kidding me? It's
Yeah, she did.
crazy.
And
Crazy. But yeah, do we got any other news? Anything
I
else
don't think so.
that you
Let's
need to just anything else you just want to just rip into just angrily?
no, I think it's time to let your boss in.
Yeah, all right. Let's get Jamie. Let's bring him into the Tiger Den.
Check 1, 2. Tiger milk! Tiger milk! I like tiger milk! Give us some more of that, please! Tiger milk!
And we're back with our esteemed guest, Jamie Rich, editor-in-chief and writer at Ignition Press. How's it going, Jamie? How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. It's you
Yeah?
know, getting books out the door today. It's press day.
There you go.
That's right. That's right. Well, welcome to the Tiger Den. I believe this is your first time
It is
here with the Blue Crew.
the Blue Crew.
That's new.
I know, every time. We just make up different names. The
Yeah.
Revenge Crew, Blue Crew,
You're
Cubs.
sponsored by Blue Chew, so you are like,
There we
"Nah,
go.
we're Blue Crew."
We'll take it. If they
Well,
want to
you-
give us me, we'll
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah, at this point, we'll take it. So you got a brand new book that's hitting the shelves right now. You're the main man at Ignition Press. You're making it all happen. So let's just start with the nitty gritty.
Got it right.
How did
I
you-
got it right here, folks. I got it right
There
here.
it is. Dogsitter. You'd been away. You used to work as a creator a lot, and you'd stepped away from writing for a bit, and now you're back. How does that
Yeah.
feel? How does that
It
feel?
feels good. It's nice to have returned to it. So you have like between 2004 and the start of 2015, I was full freelance writing. I'd left Oni Press, where I was editor in chief, to pursue writing. And DC called just the right time to say, "Hey, we want you to come join Vertigo." That it was like that I actually considered it, and there wasn't going to be much else at that point. I would have even considered to return to editing, but I was like, "Oh man, Vertigo."
Yeah.
But after a little more than 6 years of that, and it was time to get back to sort of the stuff I really loved. So I left DC kind of in search of the opportunity that eventually came as Ignition, which is to do creator-owned comics, but also, get back to being creative myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it hard making that transition? Like just brushing off some of the cobwebs?
Not for the Dogsitter, because the Dogsitter was a project that was kind of one of the last things I was working on before going to DC. And couldn't really write there because of conflict of interest in the contract and things, which I understood. So that was kind of getting back into it. I had a really strong outline.
Okay.
So that made it a little easier. Now that I'm working on my second thing, it's like, oh yeah, this is a little harder when you're building it straight from the ground. So I think I did it though the right way to get myself back into sort of the confidence and feeling it.
Yeah. I mean, did you ever I mean, did you completely step away from writing, or were you writing on the side, just doing little short stories or whatnot, just to keep, the muscles fresh, I guess?
I tried occasionally and was toying with a novel that I never quite found the plot for.
Mm.
But it can be hard because the brain power you put into the day of working
Oh,
on comics, it sort of saps that creative juice out of you. So that's been a bit of a challenge finding how I want to balance my time here. But
yeah.
having deadlines helps because I can't not meet a deadline. So
Yeah.
There you
I'm
go.
I'm curious, what is I think you're the first editor in chief, big dog, as we like to
Big
call them.
big dog. Big doggin'. There's the title for the episode. Big
Okay, perfect.
doggin'.
The first big dog editor in chief we've had on the show, and I'm just kind of curious, what does that entail? What is that like? Illuminate the tiger cubs, if you would.
at most places, it's largely management. Like you are
Mm.
overseeing the entire editorial staff and the line of books and interfacing between them and the rest of the company, and particularly the higher ups of the companies. So that's a lot of management, a lot of putting out other people's fires. Like at IDW, I tried to edit and it was a mess. All my books
Mm.
were late because I just didn't have the time. Because you're constantly like reacting to what everybody else is doing. So in this case, though, like I started off like the first year almost was just me in editorial.
Wow.
Whoa.
And I think Maggie Powell came on as senior editor a few months into the. Were we publishing already? No, we weren't even publishing yet. But yeah, I started on Ignition in like the spring, and she came on the following year in the beginning of the year, and so had set things up being more like focusing on having to edit as well as everything else, but not having like a huge staff to manage. So like balances out in a little bit. And also not having a giant company where you're having to deal with all these different departments and going through the
Right.
red tape and 8 million meetings has left a little bit more time to be creative.
Yeah.
Hardly is just finding quiet time to read and making
Sure.
sure that I can actually. I mean, I've read scripts. I'm like, I don't know what I just read. I don't know what happened. And I've given notes where they're like, it's right in there. Like, oh, I was just tired. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. What is that like? Reading because I feel like you're the guy who essentially says yes or no on projects, right?
Yeah.
So what is that like? Like reading a script? Have you had scripts where that you liked, but necessarily was like this isn't the right time to publish this, or straight up scripts that you don't like? Like what is that? What does that entail?
Oh, totally. Yeah. And there is sort of a process here where everybody eventually weighs in. But yeah, like if I don't want to do it, or if no other editor wants to do it, it's never going to get off the ground because you're going
Mhm.
to have somebody who champions it. So it is pretty crazy and really fulfilling to be part of something to where I've said yes at some point to all of it. But yeah, you get stuff in mostly as pitches at that point to where, yeah, sometimes like I like this, but this doesn't make any sense for us. We're
Yeah.
not the home for this. Or yeah, I've read plenty of things where it's just not that interesting, or
Yeah.
I feel like in comics, and this is probably true in any creative medium, you get folks that I don't know if they have something to say. They just feel more like well, I love X, so I want to do my version of X.
Mhm.
They don't bring
Oh,
any
yeah.
sort of personality to it. And what I'm looking for is like, what's the unique personality that you have? I mean, something like Showdown, even like in terms of a plot, is not necessarily super unique and could be
Right.
Yeah.
done in very sort of if it didn't have Dave's insight into who the characters were and like the peep and the like, he understood that drama by the time he started writing it backwards and forwards.
Definitely.
And it feels like when Dave tells you stories about where he grew up and the people he grew up around, like there's an authenticity to that he brings to it. And
Yeah.
so just being a standard crime plot goes out the window because it's like he's telling a completely different kind of story. And then luckily finding the right artist that sort of meshed so that you guys understood each other was like kind of like, yeah, when I thought of you, that was sort of the thing. I was like, I bet he'll get this, and I bet you they'll get along. So there's
Yeah,
a lot of trying to match make at the same time, which is a tangent from what the question was, but
That's okay.
No, but I think that's something that people don't talk about as much because I feel, especially outsiders, right? Like just the common reader, I feel like they just think that artists just get brought in to just work on a story. And I guess maybe that happens with some of the bigger like IP projects, but I think for
yeah,
stuff like this, like it really is like a meshing of the minds. Like you got to have some, it's kind of like dance partners, right? You can't be stepping on each other's feet the whole time or it becomes horrible.
yeah, and you're also going to be entering into almost a parental partnership to where it's like you have this kid together,
Yeah.
and the longer it sticks around, like, and you don't like each other, then it's not going to be any fun down the road. You know,
Yeah.
I remember I was a big fan of Nexus, and
Oh,
there's
yeah.
nothing more disappointing than finding down over the years that, Baron and Rude can't get along. And I've thought about that working in creator own space of like you know, who can I work with that I actually get along with? Because and we actually have a pretty good no assholes policy at Ignition. Um,
That's a
life,
good policy to have.
yeah,
Great, great policy.
because no one's gonna make you enough money to put up with their crap. So if they don't treat people well,
Yeah.
we don't want them around. We have too much going on, and there's too many talented people who aren't jerks. So making sure that the people are gonna get along, and if I'm gonna recommend Tad to Dave, I've got to be pretty sure that like this
He's
is
not
gonna
a
go well.
horrible person,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
terrible.
Well, let me
Dave,
tell
I'm
you some
coming for
stories.
you.
How much time we got? Oh yeah, I like that. That reminds me of like, so if you can't tell from behind me, I'm a Turtles guy. So that reminds me of like the breakup of Eastman and Laird in the '90s.
yeah.
Which was tragic for the Turtles, and I'm happy they've since reconciled. But that was, yeah, that was a big kind of downfall of the comic was when those two stopped working together.
Yeah, having the enter into some of these relationships and check your ego and not sometimes we default to think that the writers are the boss,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and it's not. It's a collaboration, and so
Yep.
when I'm writing and I'm working with the artists, I'm trying to be as open as possible to what they're going to bring to the table. And maybe if it doesn't come off like it was in my head, maybe I didn't write it well enough to inspire them to do it the right way.
Right.
Now speaking I'm gonna just cut through the bullshit. Just great.
Oh.
Yeah, we're getting at it. I wanna know how you got into comics. Because like, when I first came to Portland, I think it was in '09,
Uh-huh.
like, you were one of I wanna say you were one of the first people that I heard about just through the studio because 'cause you'd be in and out. I think you and Joelle would pop in once in a while, like,
Yeah.
over those early years I was there, and, I think the first time I even met you guys was, like, right before Christmas. Joelle was doing a whole bunch of commissions, and you were helping her send them out, and
Yeah.
you just all frazzled, like, "I gotta get these out." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay out of their way." But how did you get rolling in the industry? Like, because I mean, like, I'd heard your name, but you were just kind of like a this mysterious guy to me back in the early days of my career.
Yeah. Because Joel and I had always joked that there was all these like tribes in Portland, and we didn't necessarily belong to any of them, and so we weren't usually in the different little groups. And she was part
Yeah.
of Helioscope, but like, you know, there was also like different schools of thought in Portland in general about how people work, and she was a nose to the grindstone sort of person. She's like you are, which I remember when she introduced you, that was part of like her endorsement. It was like, this guy works. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and I owe a lot actually to Joelle. I think she got me a lot of just points just with people in the area by just like, I don't know, saying nice things about me
yeah,
when nobody was wanting to say nice things about me.
yeah. So I got into comics as a kid in the '80s. Started when I was in 5th grade, and GI Joe came out.
Oh,
That
nice.
those are my. I I've told the story recently, but yeah, like there was people don't remember necessarily that when G.I. Joe started in this iteration, there was a animated miniseries that ran in syndication for 5 days in a row, which was
Whoa.
like nobody had done, and there was no VCR, so like you had to get home. It was on at 3:30. You'd get home and see it, or you may never see it again for all we knew. And they were advertising the toys and the comic books during that. So I found a comic book shop and they had G.I. Joe #2, which turned out to be the rare one. But I was 10, so by the time I found out it was the rare one, it was trashed. But that started me off. I think Spider-Man was next, and then eventually the X-Men, and then indie comics. So it was a really great time to be reading comics.
Yeah.
And I got into all the different kinds. My parents got divorced, and I think there's a guilt factor that my dad signed me up at the comic shop and signed a thing that's like he can just have whatever he wants. So I was reading stuff I shouldn't be, like Little Hits and American Flag and Dark Knight. So it really sort of changed my view of stories and what it could be. And I was a latchkey kid. My mom worked nights, so I was home alone all night listening to the radio and reading comic books. And so that was very formative for me. And I knew I wanted to be a writer. I initially wanted to be a cartoonist, but like I figured out I couldn't draw. And also noticed like I never finished the drawings, but I'm always was tinkering with the stories. So I shifted focus to that in like junior high. And from that started to write letters to the comic books because I was like, well, I want to get my name in there. And
that's really smart.
Did you make it into one?
What's that?
Did you make it into one?
I made it into quite a few.
Oh yeah.
So, and it was funny because then I started going to conventions and people knew who I was from the letter comps, and they were, particularly all the other letter guys, were shocked because I was like 15.
And were they all older dudes?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So, and my big one was I really like transformative for me was Grendel, the Matt Wagner comic. And I was writing them every month. And I was a big Kamiko guy. And so I was writing to a lot of their comics. So my first Comic-Con in San Diego was 1987 when I was 15.
Wow.
I walked up to Dinah Schutz and I said, "Hi, I'm Jamie Rich." And she said, "Of Quartz Hill, California." And I was like, "Oh my God." And so I met her and Matt Wagner and Bob Schreck. And then the next year I went back and they all remembered me because it was small enough then too.
Right.
Yeah.
So that blew my mind of like they remembered my name and they said hi. So that relationship kept up. And when I was in college, Diana was just like, "Well, let me know when you get out." And she hired me to be her assistant when she was editor-in-chief at Dark Horse in 94.
Dang.
Oh man, dude.
That's awesome.
Wow.
What a story.
Yeah. So I rolled right, and she had written letters to Daredevil while she was working in comic book retail, and that's how she met like Frank Miller. So it's part of a history, like Jim Shooter, Paul Levitz, of a history of that pre-internet. Was how you were able to sort of communicate with other comic book people. So I fell into this lineage, probably like the last of it. And so started at Dark Horse, moved over to Oni, and then went freelance. So yeah, I'm at this point over 3 decades into this thing.
Wow. Dude, I'm just glad that you brought up Comico, because I feel like people forget about some of these older companies that are no longer. Like they did some really cool stuff back in the day. They really did.
And it was Robotech that led me to them because they were doing the Robotech comics.
Oh yeah, that's right. I just read it's kind of goofy, but I think it was a Jezebel Jade. It was Adam and Andy Kubert together doing all the art, and it's just one of those where I was like, man, that's crazy. It's just crazy that these two guys like probably would have been right out of school, probably one of their first gigs. It's just nuts.
Yeah, because I actually looked up Andy's age the other day. He's about 10 years older than me, so probably would have been straight out of college.
Yeah. I hope he's doing good. I think he was just on the Sketch podcast, I think last week or something.
Oh, he's got that Kirkman book, right? The Terminal.
I believe so, which is weirdly his first creator-owned book.
Yeah, this is a creative-owned book. No way.
It's his first one. The guy's been working in the industry since the 80s, I want to say.
It's funny because back then it was like you toiled in the work for hire to get to the point where you could do your creator-owned comic books. And there was
Yeah.
a few outliers like Matt Wagner, who did all the creator-owned stuff before. But like Legend, when I was at Dark Horses, Legend was underway, and so Miller and all those guys were branching out. And it was sort of this thing of like, you have to get the reputation to do your own thing. And I want to say it was around Bendis where that switched to where it became, oh, you do the creator-owned stuff to get the big gigs. And, and part of what we want, and then often like the money wasn't there, so like creator-owned was a sacrifice, and so that's kind of one thing we've tried to change at Ignition to where it's like actual page rates, try to give you a decent wage so you don't have to
You're not dying for your art.
Yeah. Like squeezing out 20 commissions a week just to cover your bills. Like that's the sort of thing we want to try to help people avoid. But being in the 90s and working at Dark Horse, like it's Frank Miller, Arthur Adams, Mike Allred. You know, my first solo editing gig was Usagi Yojimbo when Mirage fell apart and Stan needed a new publisher.
Oh yeah.
So Space Usagi and the first Dark Horse stuff through Grasscutter. Like I have a tendency to like drop the mic at the right time. Like, well, Grasscutter's over. I'm going to go over to this company instead.
Wow.
So someone recently told me that, like, you're the canary in the coal mine. If you leave this place, and everybody should get out. I was like, yeah.
Man, I'm gonna remember that. I'm keeping that in my back pocket forever. If you're running from a place, then I'm taking note of that.
Well, you know, I'd love to. Speaking of a place that you were, real quick.
Here we go.
Oh, I'm a Turtles guy.
Yeah.
Wait, are you a Turtles guy? Are you sure about that?
Pretty sure. I think so. I mean, that's how we met, Tad. But
let's say Turtles maniac.
Is that like a beach towel behind you or something?
Is that a what?
Like a beach towel all the way back there with Turtles #1 cover?
So what that is that is a file cabinet, and that is a giant car magnet that I'm sticking on it. I still have to cut it so the drawers will open, but that's where I hold my comics.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But the question I have, so you really you went to IDW, you relaunched Ninja Turtles, you know, bringing in some really top level talent for that, which I thank you for. I was a big fan of Jason Aaron's run. What was that like, you know, going in, and you know, what was your process behind the Turtles revamp and everything like that?
I mean, the big thing was at that time, because Last Ronin was outselling Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like 4-1.
Oh yeah.
And sitting there with Mark Doyle talking about that and talking about why don't more creators work on Turtles? Why haven't all of these guys done it? This is a franchise that should be up there with Batman and Spider-Man, and Last Ronin was kind of proving it. Like,
100% agree. Yeah.
Like, this is super popular and actually very well known. Why isn't it doing better? And, you know, IDW had a pretty good run where they revitalized it at a time when no one was paying attention. And that had gone on for, by that point, it was over 100 issues. We shut it down at 150. And so that was the notion was, how do we make it so that the regular title also sells 100,000 copies?
Right.
Because it should be competing. It should be in the top 3. And so that was, again, going to Paramount, saying we want to shut down the current continuity, or at least the current run, because they asked us to keep the IDW continuity, which like you can restart without throwing everything out. That's fine. But wanting to bring in people who would make you take notice.
Yeah.
And it's funny because we were having a hard time getting someone who could draw all of them. And that's when it became, well, why don't we do the first 4 issues with the biggest people we can get to do one?
Yeah.
And yeah, we sold 300,000 copies of that first issue. And I literally sent that to press, and my last day was the next day.
Oh my gosh.
Like I said, I know when to drop the mic.
Yeah, you do know when to drop the mic. I just like, so let's say, getting Jason Aaron in on that. What was his? I mean, did he have multiple ideas of where he wanted to go? Were you guys collaborative in that? Like, what was that? Getting his take, I guess.
Yeah, I credit to Charles Beecham, who was the one who actually like had a relationship with Jason and
Mhm.
and brought him in. We had tossed around some other names, but like once Jason came up, it was like, oh yeah. And it's funny because at DC, he was always the talk of like when we were having to figure out who was going to follow Tom King. It was all on Batman. It was like, man, if we get Jason Aaron over here, he'd be the
Yeah,
one.
I mean, yeah.
So that seemed like a no brainer. From what I recall, he just understood the mission of
yeah,
like we want to break them down because at the time I felt like a lot of the comics had become more about the side characters and less about the turtles themselves.
100%. Yes.
So that was the initial mission is like let's get them, let's take them to a place where it's just them for a minute, and that's when he kind of came up with well, we'll break them apart and put them in different places and then pull them back together. So he kind of came in from the jump with the basic concept, and it evolved a bit from there, but it was mostly, he's just got it. And I'd actually never worked with him and had never read any of his scripts. And so I got those first scripts in, and it was like, oh my God. Like there's guys that can write a script, and then there's guys that can write and they write a script. And he is such a good writer. Like they're a joy to read.
Yeah.
See it, you feel it. Because some scripts are very perfunctory, some of them are messy as hell. And sort of read like, oh, his prose is actually good. His descriptions make you see things. I understood at that point why he was who he was, and I was even late to the game with him at Vertigo. I had to edit some new editions of Scalped, like the big deluxe editions,
Mhm.
and the boss at the time was like, you need to reread them and proofread them and look for mistakes. So I had to read all Scalped, and it's quite an impressive feat of how he would. There'd be fill-in issues, and he would weave out of a story and do the fill-ins, and then weave right back in, like nothing had happened, and how he kept all these like balls in the air. He's just super impressive. So yeah, bringing him in and then trying to figure out what artists matched the personalities of each turtle.
Yeah.
Joelle on Raphael was on purpose. Of like, I
Hmm.
knew she grew up liking Punisher and liking Wolverine, and yet everyone is always putting her on like young adult girly stuff. So I'm like, do you want to do the big bruiser guy? And she's like,
Wow.
yeah, of course.
It was great too. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
The prison, that was great. Yeah.
And then Burnham, what does he do? Donatello?
He did Donatello. Yep.
So here's a confession. My assistant had to make a key to put on my wall that was like Raphael red, blah, blah, green. I didn't know the difference, and I couldn't remember. And so I didn't feel stupid on the phone. I could be like, Raphael.
That's awesome.
That's great. Well, I love that you tried to, bring them into the mainstream with big name folks. I think that I mean, obviously it paid off wonders. So I applaud you, sir, for that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And
I do have
like they're
sorry.
doing interesting things still, because you've gone into Gene Yang and now Matthew Rosenberg, and
Yep.
then Dan
Yeah.
Waters on Shredder. Like there seems to be
Yep.
that idea of you can bring in folks that normally you don't. Stop treating it like a licensed comic book and treat it just like any other IP. I think is important.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, not to knock the previous Turtle stuff, but it kind of felt like it was like if you were just breaking into the industry, it was like a place where they would like when my first gig was on Turtles, like my
Right.
first professional gig, and I remember being like, wow, this is kind of crazy that I'm like not doing some I don't know smaller thing, but that's how they treated it. I feel like at
Yeah.
the time it was kind of
So
strange.
those shout out to Tom Waltz, who
Yeah.
no one quite noticed that he wrote over like 100 issues.
Did 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and because when I got that idea, it was like, how do we not all know who you are?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's because he'd only done stuff for that. And now I know he's doing stuff for Marvel and things. But yeah, with The Last Ronin in particular, people started like, who's this guy? It's like, well, he's been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And he was running all the G.I. Joe stuff with Larry Hama at the same time. Like, so he is an impressive cat and an impressive dog.
Yeah. Sorry, they just kick the door open all the time. I just, yeah.
For a second, I was making sure it was a dog, because if I had said that's an impressive cat and it was a cat that had just walked in, it would have been like,
Wanda, come here. Maybe we can get her. Come on,
this is what the Tiger Cubs live for. They want the animals on.
yes.
I mean, it's a you know, we'll be talking about dogs in a little bit. So
Yeah,
that's
true. Over there.
Yeah,
mine's laying down somewhere.
I feel like I'm the outlier here. I'm the only one who doesn't have a pug right now. Everybody's this is a pug club. You have a pug, right, Jamie?
Yeah, I've got a black pug. Yeah,
I got a pug.
Nice.
Yeah, pug club featuring the monster over here.
I love it.
Well, no, what I was going to ask is, you know, it's interesting what you're saying about just finding bigger names to bring into the Turtles. Do you think that's one of the things that like maybe a lot of like IPs kind of suffer from, where they don't get this like attention, where it's like, we should bring, it's an A-list IP. It's something that's like super recognized. We should bring in like top tier talent, give them the budget, and then let them play, let them do something, I don't know, creative with these characters, you know. I would just be curious on your thought about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are treated as like you're supposed to sort of toe this line and follow some kind of style and not mess with things too much. And that is what some licensors want. And then sometimes the licensing fee is so heavy that it eats up a lot of the budget. And so to take a big chance on name talent costs more money. But, you know, then you see it pay off. And at that time, we had just done something a bit similar with Star Trek, where Heather Antos had brought in Chris Cantwell and Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly and some artists that she had worked with on the Star Wars comics at Marvel, and had gotten a renewed interest in there. Because it was like a big deal when we got some Eisner nominations for Star Trek, because that just licensed get it. And then we got some for Godzilla, because I was trying to do interesting things in Godzilla, and particularly just as I was leaving, a new regime for Toho America was coming in, and those guys actually were like, we want to show Japan that we can actually do more with Godzilla. That they see manga numbers and are like, why don't you do that? And so if you see what Jake Williams as an editor has done since then, he's really like shaken up how they were doing Godzilla, what types of Godzilla books they were doing, and got like Tim Seeley and other talent to come in. And so everyone was trying to start to apply that to everything of like, why do we treat these like they're cheap?
That's I think that's probably the nicest way I put it. Like, why does stuff like Godzilla get treated like it's cheap? It's crazy to me. It doesn't make any sense.
And you look at Transformers, I mean, from Daniel Warren Johnson. And then and then with Jorge Corona, and now Robert Kirkman's writing Transformers now. So I mean, there's another IP that's gotten the A-list treatment, and it's sold really, really well.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking about everything else. We're dancing around the big dog in the room.
That's right.
Dogsitter. So you sent us the first 2 issues.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. Issue 3 is coming soon.
Yeah, issue 2 came out yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Issue 3 at press. There's going to be 5 total. So we're wrapping up 4 and getting down to the wire. But
it's Boise's own. It's Boise's own rom-com. That was kind of fun to see, mostly because I'll be going to Boise here in a few weeks to see all you guys. But it was kind of neat to see. I got to admit, there were some really interesting things that I'm hoping you could speak on as a bit of a writer. One of the things that I picked up immediately when I was reading the issues is I like to call it big storytelling, meaning where you're leaving a lot of room for the artist to tell the story. You're not like slamming the pages with tons and tons of panels. I want to say like that first issue is averaging maybe like 4 or 5 panels per page. I really like that. Like that's the kind of stories I like to read. Was that something that you did strategically, or was that something that you were just like, no, this is the best way to tell the story?
Yeah, I think it's the usually for me it's the best way. And knowing Megan Levens and having worked with her before, I kind of also understood how to write for her and where her strengths were. But I think in general, I've always tried to sort of stick to like 6 panels or less per page,
Yeah.
because I like to see like to see it have space. And then occasionally, like you cram a tighter page in if there's a lot of dialogue or something. But uh, I I don't know. I feel like I've always had, probably because I edited for 10 years before I actually started to write my comics. I was always prose before that.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so 12 Reasons Why I Love Her was basically the first comic I wrote. And I feel like after editing that long, I just kind of had a natural feeling for what fits and
Yeah.
how things should be structured, and even down to like how to do it and the amount of pages you've got. So but I've always loved that the kinds of illustrators, like I got Fort Psycho right here, so like Brian Hurt and Somni and Joel, like all these really nice, clean drawings. So writing to their style, I can see it. I always try to tell writers, if you can't see it, you can't. It's not a good page, and
Mm.
Yeah.
you're not going to art direct the hell out of it. If you can't sit down and sketch your own little thumbnail and go like, "That's what it could be," and that's how it fits, you're never going to understand then how the mechanic of that page works. So I think, yeah, I just have a very good way of seeing where things go and try to naturally paste things to the page and figure out, well, this scene needs to fit here in 2 pages. So how can I redact and make it what it needs to be? Because the scary thing about something like a Dogsitter being a romantic comedy, and it's like it could just be a lot of people standing around talking,
Right.
Right.
and so you want to keep it moving, and so keeping the
Yes.
pages light makes it feel like it's moving as well.
That was one of the notes I actually had. Lately, I've been when I read stuff, I've been taking notes, and I was like the whole time, and I think it was because of the flow that you created, but also the color choices. I felt like in a really good mood reading it. It was a very
Yeah.
positive kind of poppy, just this upbeat. And even though like the character is hinting that like she's dealing with maybe some like internal struggle here and there that is going to escalate. I don't want to give away anything. Right? Like that might escalate as the issues
Yeah.
progress. It was like a really refreshing read, just sitting down and
I
reading
like that.
and looking through this, like, I guess, rom-com. Yeah, it was really nice. I'm guessing all this is stuff that was all strategically done.
Yeah, it's hard to. A lot of it's instinct, and some of it is strategy and trying to figure out. Well, like Gemma, the main character, can't just be sort of happy-go-lucky going along.
Right.
She needed something to make her a little more interesting. So the idea that she is having to take a break from veterinary school to get money, and so
Yeah.
she's got all these hustles going on. It makes you want to root for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas if she just was like a happy, bubbly, cute girl, you'd be like, I don't know, this isn't very exciting. And then trying to sort of throw then obstacles in her path in terms of the love triangle. And I keep saying it, instead of a will they or won't they, it's a should she or shouldn't she.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and it just kind of evolved. You start playing with the pieces. And I always sort of joked that like writing rom-coms or any romance is just figuring out like what 2 people do you want to smash together.
Yeah.
And so finding it, but that also can get really boring. So trying to find interesting ways to make that continue to work, and have a hook. So like the previous one I did with Natalie Norgad, A Boy and a Girl, where
Oh,
there's
yeah.
artificial intelligence and robots and things that make it, that then throw again obstacles in the path, and then it's all about how do the people react to it, what do they
Right.
do. So for this, yeah, I wanted her to have an interesting life and be in a space where also kind of almost makes sense that she's maybe getting involved with someone she shouldn't in a situation that doesn't. I appreciate you mentioning the color because I don't know where Nick Filardi pulled out this color palette and this style. It looks like to me like 1960s
I love
magazine.
it.
And yeah, because
I
like
do
the
too.
colors bleed out of the lines a little bit. They're not totally solid and they're bright.
Yeah, and some of the effects he does with the lighting coming in through the window, like I forget, it's one of the characters. I think it's one of the characters from the Triangle. The boss gal.
Yeah,
She comes in to
Portia.
drop off. What's her name again?
Portia.
Portia. When she comes in to drop off her dog, like that scene with the light coming through, it really set you up. I feel like it set up the reader in a really, and I don't know if the colorist had the pages in advance, but I felt like it set up like, oh, she kind of has this like angelic summer glow, good times, and then when she comes, we see her again. It's like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah.
And it really like set it up. It was really like psychologically as the reader, it really I felt like it was purposely manipulative in a great way.
There's a scene in 3 where because for those that haven't read it, like Gemma works in a flower shop at the bottom of an apartment building, and Portia has the top floor.
Right.
And there's a scene in 3 where after she sort of gets into it with Neil, she looks up and Portia's in her window smoking and is basically like, get up here, and then tosses her cigarette into the street. And when my editor Maggie read that, she's like, I can't wait to see that drawn because I felt intimidated just thinking of it. And Megan's so good at the acting that it's really
good.
Yeah. Even better than I think I feel like she's unlocked something in this as well. Not to use the ignition unlock, but it's both her and Nick have just sort of something has hit with them on this that I was sort of astonished when it started coming back.
Yeah, I'm curious. Are you a rom-com guy? What are some like inspirations for you in making this? And yeah,
I am, and one of the best compliments I actually got recently was from our head of development, head of production, Peter Schwerin, where he compared me to Billy Wilder because I have the same two loves as Billy Wilder: romance and crime. And so my sweet spot is like, how do I squish that together?
I like it.
So yeah, so I like a lot of the classic stuff. I've made no secret that Dogsitter was inspired quite a bit by The Apartment. With Jack.
Oh, okay.
And even in issue 3, they go and they see it at the Egyptian Theater in Boise. So like I don't ever hide like this is my inspiration because it really did that. I played with that dynamic of that love triangle and played with the boss and who's the boss and kind of gender bent it. So I love a lot of the classic stuff like that. I love Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. Which was a big inspiration for the book Megan and I did prior, Aries and Aphrodite.
Oh wow!
And people, I don't know if anyone noticed, but yeah, their individual pets were Spencer and Kate. So again, I'm like putting it right in.
Okay,
yeah.
But I watched like a lot of modern stuff even for this. Like I particularly wanted to look at kind of the career girl rom-com, so to speak, with like Working Girl from the 80s, Melanie Griffith. But one that I rediscovered that I really liked was Morning Glory with Rachel McAdams, where she's trying to be a news producer. And
yeah.
And like Wimbledon with Kirsten Dunst is really good. So I tried to look at that kind of stuff. And there's one I really like, Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah, that's God, like, who's in that?
Ryan Gosling and Steve Carell and Julianne Moore.
That's a great movie.
And they're in Emma Stone, and there's multiple couples and different tangles, and it's the best rom-coms are about people struggling to be happy. And that,
I mean, really Steve Carell struggles hard in that movie, and it's great. Like, the ending of that movie is like when it comes to the climax where they all is revealed. Man, it's such a great ending. So
it's
good.
also
I've not seen it.
Ryan Gosling play humorously conceited. Like, he's also so like on point in that movie. Really, like I buy it. I buy do this. But against type of kind of what his true personality seems like.
Do you do you study a lot of film? Is that something that you lean into? I mean, I try to.
Yeah. Well, so when I was freelance and living on the cheap in Portland, I started writing for DVD Talk and
wow.
other venues because I was like, oh, this is a way I can get DVDs for free.
There you go.
I didn't get paid.
That's a good move.
I didn't get paid for them at the time, but I got tons of movies, and then you could sell the ones you didn't want to keep. And then, and my editor liked me, so he knew I loved Criterion, so he gave me most of the Criterions.
Oh,
And then I became also a theatrical reviewer, so I was seeing all the screenings, and eventually wrote for like the Oregonian and some of the other papers, and did get paid. But
wow.
yeah, so spent a long time where everything I watched almost was like had to be reviewed immediately. You'd watch a movie, write the review, post it, and like no chance for a second take.
Does that kill your love for it?
Some reviews out there, I'm like, oh god, I wish that would go away because that one's dumb.
Yeah.
But
what'd you ask, Brian? What was that?
I was just having to like watch movies to write reviews. Did that kill the joy of movies at all for you?
a little bit. I was pretty sick of it by the time. I didn't necessarily realize how much I was sick of it, but when I got to DC, and so then again had to stop because you couldn't review anything by Warner Brothers.
Right.
It getting back to like, oh, I can just watch this and not get into my head, because that was always the challenge as a reviewer. Like, if it's a good movie, you're probably not going to spend much time thinking about what you're going to say about it.
Yeah.
And so not trying to fall into a trap where you're thinking about what lines you're going to throw up.
I feel like that's the trappings of just being a storyteller, right? Is the more visual media you start like taking in, whether it's comics or movies, you start like dissecting it.
Yeah.
Or you're like, ooh, that's a good angle. That's really well structured, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Or if I start editing your movie story in the middle of it, then you're probably doing a bad job.
Yeah.
Like you can see my guy in the corner here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He is almost 10.
Oh, wow.
My pug just turned 9 in June, so
Yeah, he's getting weird and picky and
that sounds right. That sounds about right.
likes to putter and walks and like with no real aim, but like doesn't want to go in.
One of the things I really enjoyed about the book is I liked that you put it in probably a city that doesn't get a lot of comic book love, which is Boise. Boise is one of those, I feel, kind of like underdiscovered American cities in terms of like visual aesthetic. Everybody always, everything's always like San Francisco, LA, New York, especially like, I mean, how many rom-coms have taken place in Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
And I loved when you that you have it in Boise, because there's like, what's the graffiti walk and stuff, like there's the galley. Yeah. Like I love seeing that, because it's, that's stuff that like, it makes that city so special, where I guess if this gets made into a movie, like I want to see that shot of the characters walking down that alley with all the cool murals and everything all over.
Yeah, that was Pete Schwerin again, our movie guy. It was kind of generic, maybe LA, maybe New York when it was starting, and he said you should pick a place. The cliche is always that the city is a character.
Yeah.
And he is like, why don't you seem to like Boise, why don't you just use it? He's like, so what you're saying is like nobody shoots there, nobody, like, it's fresh. And then realizing there is all these really cool date places you can go. Like Dog Island is like a real thing. It's a park. It's not an island, but in a park it is surrounded by water. And
that's cool. That's awesome.
And it's huge. And so it's like and it made for a great setting, again, to keep the things moving, so they're not just sitting around in cafes or whatever.
Right.
And walking through Freak Alley. And so kind of even being new enough here, because I've only been here 2 years, to like all the things that I had gotten introduced to in a similar way, sort of became the obvious moves.
That's really cool.
And it's fresh. It's just so fresh, because like I said, I feel like every rom-com, not that I watch a ton of them, but it seems like the last couple we've watched, there's New York City. There's always
Yeah.
Manhattan, you know?
Sure.
Maybe they put it in like the meatpacking district or something. So there's or
Yeah.
Soho. Yeah. You know. But no, I think that I just thought that was so cool. Do you have like a particular process when you write? Do you just sit down? I know some people just sit down and they just puke out everything and then try and organize their ideas, or are you more like systematic? Do you compartmentalize things and start structuring it out?
Yeah, I tend to start with, I do a lot of thinking ahead of time and not necessarily writing the stuff down, but sort of mulling it over until I can't stop thinking about it. And I'll try to do some kind of outline, even if it's a loose one. Um, I've done both, and they're both beneficial depending on the story. But
Yeah.
when I did like the prose novels, the outlines, I always joked it was all the vowels, and I had to fill in the consonants to make it work. But for this one, I did have a very strong outline sitting and waiting because I tried to pitch it. I had done it actually. I'd initially written it as a screenplay, and then an artist I knew was like, he said, "I think we can sell this in France, but you need to change it to France." So I wrote out a very, from memory, I wrote just sort of a full summary of
Cool.
what the screenplay had been, but considering it in Paris. So was it going to be like she was a American in Paris for Shut a Water thing? So that was very detailed, and so I used that when writing this, but had first went through it and sort of figured out like this is number one, this is number two, figuring out what beats do I need to get to make them feel like complete chapters.
Wow.
And then just kind of from there, just sat down, wrote. So I never pulled out the screenplay. I never went back to that. It's totally different in a lot of ways.
Wow.
So it was, and because I wanted it to feel fresh, so
Yeah.
reimagining whatever the conversations were, for who the characters were now and where they lived, like, so once I get a groove, it can go pretty quick, but I also then throughout the different processes will change up and shake things. If I don't have a full outline, then if I hit a spot where I'm not sure what to do, I'll pull back, outline a little bit. If I'm stuck on the actual page, that's when I'll go and just sort of sketch out
Yeah.
thumbnails and try to write that way. So
Yeah.
I'm always trying to sort of shake things loose before they get stuck.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah, no, I have
that's
no
interesting.
one specific process. And I don't do like note cards or post-it notes or anything. It's usually just scribbling in notebooks and
I don't get the note. I've tried the note card thing and it did not work for me at all. I just ended up with a lot of note cards and a lot of little plot points. And it's like, well, I don't know where to put these like at all. Yeah. Um, okay. One thing I do know about you, you're a big music guy.
yes.
Okay.
So huge music guy. So I gotta ask, what's the soundtrack to Dogsitter? Like who's on
Um,
it?
yeah, you can actually see like, so that's with the vinyl A through G,
Damn.
Yeah.
and then it goes throughout the house. I have like a ridiculous amount of records.
Are you strictly a vinyl guy?
Yeah, vinyl and digital.
Yeah.
I'll occasionally pick up some CDs if there's something that's special. Like I just got a Vince Clarke from Erasure. Like someone put out a double CD of his remixes for other people,
Oh, cool.
and rather than try to gather that on Spotify or digitally, it's like I'm just gonna buy the CD, burn it, and have
Yeah.
it. Um, yeah. So this one I didn't have. Like I did build a playlist that I used, and there was some recent stuff on it by like Wet Leg and Haim.
Oh, okay.
And then my usual sort of Brit poppy, like actually a more recent Richard Ashcroft song, the guy from the Verve, that
Oh,
had just
wow.
this one I kind of built just sort of as I was writing, as I'd hear things go like, oh, this makes sense. So there's like Brian Ferry, there's there's an old Scandal song. You remember the Warrior, Patti Smythe and Scandal, shooting at the walls of heartache, bang bang.
Yeah.
There's a different song that they have called Goodbye to You that is there's like, so the opening credits in my head movie is Richard Ashcroft's Lover, and it ends with Scandal's Goodbye to You,
Okay.
which is fits where it ends up. Some of it ends up going, but and then so if you follow even along on my Instagram, I've been using the playlist for some of the different posts. But then I've also recently added stuff in like Olivia Rodrigo and The Strokes.
That's cool.
See, I think of a purely yacht rock.
Oh,
I think
this
yacht rock
guy.
would fit nicely with this with the dog.
You've chosen a genre that I do not have any affinity for. Sorry.
Man, that's all I listen to. So
Yacht rock. You just need the yacht.
Yeah.
Well,
You
I-
Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it was interesting. I was listening to when I was reading it this morning. I was listening to I think it was just on Pandora, but it was the Lush playlist.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, wow, this is actually kind of because I normally, you read when I'm reading comics or books or whatever, you normally turn off the music, but I was like, no, this is fitting. We'll just let it go. Yeah.
Oh, see, I have it on constantly, and I can write to lyrics, and so I always have a playlist that exists to sort of if I need something to get me into that headspace.
Yeah.
So it is built out to sort of like I need to get in the mood. I can just throw this on.
Yeah. I find that there's a lot of like the type of music is connected to the kind of story that you're working on.
Yeah.
Like with Showdown, I've actually kind of struggled. It's been the first time I couldn't like be very concise with a playlist. Like sometimes
yacht
I listen to like
rock.
Offspring and L7, and then
Right.
for some of the other stuff, I'm like, I don't know, man. This is like really sad shit we're drawing here. I really don't know what to play.
I'm
Gotta
kind
do
of surprised
Total.
Dave didn't have a playlist of some kind with lots of like Gaslight Anthem and
You
punk.
know what? I probably should have asked him. I didn't even ask him.
Too late now, man.
It's
Yeah.
too late. It's
Yeah,
too
like
late.
the finale.
Volume 2.
Yeah, volume 2. No, yeah, the finale. No, I'm listening to a lot of metal for the finale. It's pretty intense. It's getting pretty heavy. Little Nine Inch Nails. I know you're a Nine Inch Nails fan.
I am
Yeah.
an Nails fan.
Yeah. I know you also go to a lot of concerts. So even though this has nothing to do with comics, real quick, who would you say is like top performance you've been able to experience? I'm
Ooh,
just
good one.
curious. Yeah.
Mike, I would say the two best bands live over the years were Low.
Cool.
But who are very quiet and strange and melancholy, and then Spiritualized, who are very big.
Wow.
But both similar themes of like spirituality and just frail humanity. Those were ones that like anytime they played, I would go and still would try. And I mean, my favorite band is band Suede, and I've definitely seen some of their shows that were just like mind melters. And even seeing them in recent years where they're like older than I am, and they like just go hard.
Still bring it.
So I've seen some variety. Like I'm gonna go see Cat Power tomorrow, and I've seen her like do like the most quiet solo performances.
Cool.
What's tomorrow is like her with like the band that she had for The Greatest, which is more like Nashville, kind of Nashville, kind of Southern soulish.
Is there pretty good music scene in Boise?
There's a decent scene. It's funny because it's a lot of hip hop and punk, and you get a lot of old hip hop guys and a lot of old punk guys coming through.
Cool.
But there's a music festival every year called Tree Fort that runs for like 3 days, 3 or 4 days, and it's like multiple venues around town. You get a wristband, you can just go from show to show, and they get all kinds of acts. Like the first, I didn't get to go this year because I was at a convention, but like last year, like Bright Eyes closed the festival. There's actually like really good local hip hop.
Really?
And there's this band called Dedicated Servers that like, if you like on paper, this is gonna be terrible. Like they do nerdcore.
Okay.
One's Asian, one's white. They live in Boise. you're like, this is gonna be awful. And they are so good. They are like 1990s Oakland hip hop,
Wow.
like
Okay, I'm
Black
in.
Delicious and that kind of stuff. And I've seen them opening for touring acts where they just blow them off the stage, where they got a real DJ. And so yeah, they're really good. But again, it's like when I was told that, and they're one of them was Joel Jones's little brother's childhood friend. So I'm like, there's no way
What?
this is gonna be any good. No way.
Joelle's like, don't go. They're going to be terrible. And
Oh,
then
she's
they're
like, they're
amazing.
great. And I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah.
You have to pretend that like this isn't horrible. And no, they are fantastic.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
wild.
Yeah,
I
you
would
can find
never
them on
like Boise.
You can find them on streamers. They're on Bandcamp. Like, definitely check them out.
Yeah, that I was never like I never lived in an area or had access to a lot of big concert scenes. And then right before we moved up here to Anchorage, I started going to a lot of concerts there in Portland. We realized like, oh, this is like a stop where you can see a pretty decent sized band with in a small venue.
Yeah.
And then we move up to Anchorage and it's like, well, I don't know. Someone might come by. Somebody like Modest Yahoo might stop by. Remember them? Like, yeah, like they came, I think, last summer, and you're like, oh, cool, great, awesome. The big one, I think it was Weird Al comes every year for the state fair, but I never go to that. So
yeah. I'm not quite sure what the logic is how some of this stuff comes here. Because we just had Interpol, which was kind of wild. And I looked up, they hadn't been here like since 2007. So some of that stuff bounced through. Social Distortion came through last summer, which was fantastic. Cool. So yeah, every couple months there's somebody that's big, and then you get I end up seeing things I think I wouldn't have seen if I were still in Los Angeles, because there'd be a different option. And so you're like, well,
right.
Like I saw the Buzzcocks for the first time.
Cool.
Never seen them, and I don't know why, because I'm sure I had opportunities. But yeah, you were like, well, something bigger was playing across town. So
yeah,
kind of nice.
I bet the LA scene was just insane.
Like, it was, I was at Selma like almost every week.
Oh man, yeah.
And then Boise's enough of a hub that I can travel. So like I drove to see Nine Inch Nails over to Salt Lake City. I flew to San Francisco to see Nick Cave. I'm going to Los Angeles over Halloween for My Chemical Romance.
Oh shit!
I'm upping right now.
I gotta ask, how is Nick Cave? Like, actually, my wife and I were just listening to Nick Cave like 3 nights ago. Just how was that? Because I imagine that's a pretty like surreal experience.
It was great. He's in a zone where he's older and it's kind of like later David Bowie, where it's just like just having a good time.
Yeah.
And doing what they're doing. Whereas a couple years ago, after his son had died, he was touring and like saw him at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles, actually with Cat Power opening just by herself. But that became this amazing cathartic group experience to where like whatever energy he was putting out was drawing everybody in. And so I've seen him in a lot of different contexts over the years. I saw him in the 90s when it was just like him and a piano and a small band. And I've seen him recently. He just toured like that, where it was him and Colin Greenwood from Radiohead on bass, just the two of them.
What? That must have been crazy.
Talking. Yeah. And so and then you get the Bad Seeds come and it becomes this big, loud, joyous thing. So it's been interesting watching him evolve as becomes this stranger person. And just
he from what you've described, he kind of sounds like how I imagine Beck is going with his career, because I feel like Beck, he started like alternative rock and then he, I don't know, became something completely different, and now he's like doing like acoustic blues type stuff. I don't know, I'm a huge, but then he'll collab with the Gorillaz on a song, and then just, I don't know, it seems like he's always I'm a huge Beck fan, and it's just like I'm always surprised at what he's doing, because then everything's always so different. But yeah, no, that's cool. I was just saying, I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, they asked me like, oh, do you think do you know that some musicians do graphic novels? And I'm like, yes, I'm waiting for the Beck graphic novel to come out. I don't know what it's gonna be about, but it's gonna be weird.
Yeah.
That was Gemma.
What's up?
You were talking about Beck graphic novel and when we were in
Oh,
Yakima.
that's right.
weekend.
Yeah, we did the Yakima convention over the weekend. That was an experience. Very strange. Very strange. Lots of forest fires too. Yeah, but yeah. Bri, I think it's time.
Is it time?
It's time.
All right. For what?
Don't do that. You know what it is. Don't you know? You know what it is.
All right. All right, Jamie. This is a segment that we call the question. We ask every guest who comes on the show this, and the question is this: given the opportunity to write a graphic novel, miniseries, whatever it might be, about any licensed character out there, could be, or licensed property, really, movie, comic, could be from anything, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be like a comic book character. What would you do?
This is gonna go over probably most people's heads, but it goes back to music. There was a late '80s, early '90s band called the KLF, and they put out one official album that has not been available for years. They had massive dance hits. They did remixes, but they had all kinds of weird lore that is built into the songs, where because their alternate name was the Jams, the Justified Ancients of Moo Moo, and throughout all the songs, there's all this chanting of Moo Moo. Moo Moo, and so you just heard it, you'd be like, I don't understand what the hell is going on. And they did weird little film things. There's a guy that's made out of rock. They did one song that they got Tammy Wynette to sing on, called Stand By the Jams. So they actually, you might have heard them as their alter egos, the Time Lords, where they took the Gary Glitter song Rock and Roll Part 2 and turned it into a Doctor Who song. And so it's Doctor Who. Hey, Doctor Who.
Whoa.
So I would like to get that and figure out how to turn all of the weird shit into one story.
That's epic.
I just pulled them up real quick on my phone. Yeah, man, they like everything they do is like visually like intoxicating, kind of like it's all really cool stuff.
Yeah, they infamously performed, I think it was for the Brit Awards, and they came out with machine guns and were just shooting the audience to the whole thing.
Oh my God.
Dude, they deleted all the albums. They finally showed up on streaming in the last couple years, but in different forms. It's not the actual album. There's two different like mixes of it. And they famously burned £1 million as their final act as a band. What? And no one's sure that was it really $1 million or was it like all an act, but they basically were just like, see ya. And they pop up here and there on little things, and there's guys that follow them because they've made promises about like, they'll come back in 2030 or whatever. And so people track that shit. So yeah, it would be, I don't know how you'd do it, but it would be kind of a fun sort of thing for five people.
I mean, you are editor-in-chief of a very interesting publishing house. I think it might happen. It could happen. KLF. Come on, guys. I know they're listening to this. So
you know someone who can give you the green light, and that's you.
Right.
So.
Dude, that might be one of our most interesting answers. Usually we get like old TV shows, or something like that. But that was interesting. KLF. I'm gonna listen to them tonight as soon as we get off here. I am fascinated now. I've never heard it. And they said you've been around since the 80s, right?
Yeah, I want to say 91, 92 maybe.
Okay.
The one came out.
Okay, cool.
Wow. They also had done a thing. Where did I lose you guys?
We're still here.
Oh, I touched my screen and it went small. Because they have one album that you can only now get as a bootleg because they had sampled a bunch of stuff like the Beatles and things, and so they were early in that period too. They did a record where they'd sampled things that they didn't get cleared and got in trouble. Elvis, like, the big guys.
Yeah. Beatles, Elvis, lawsuits.
A lot of, and they did some remixes here and there, like the Pet Shop Boys and Depeche Mode. But yeah, they had huge hits in England, dance chart hits, and then they had some success over here, and MTV particularly picked up the Tammy Wynette thing. But yeah, they were all about then how do we destroy this?
Dude,
it's so fascinating.
I kind of like it. It almost makes their art like a time capsule. where it
Yeah.
becomes more like legend, word of mouth than actual people listening to it. Like, it's kind of interesting, right?
I have a chat chain with Chris Conroy from DC and Andy Corey, who also has been at DC and IDW, where that's all the kind of stuff we talk about. And
It's
like,
just like interesting, rare music.
yeah, or
Oh,
Kylie
cool.
Minogue.
Oh, cool. Very
Nice.
cool.
But yeah, it's
Well,
our thread's mostly about music but yeah, the KLF was one where we're like, because at different times Conroy and I each paid like
Brian, what's our thread mostly about?
Man, well, it used to be O'Hearn memes,
That's
and
true. I feel like now it's mostly just kids baseball and what
yeah,
Ninja Turtle toys are coming out.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
All
I think
right.
that's
Well, listen, we're all tired. This
Yeah.
is the end of the day. Jamie, we try and wrap every episode by just kind of doing a little going around and seeing what everybody's reading. Just because, it's a literary medium that we all operate in. So, God forbid we all get a chance to actually indulge in it.
right.
So, what do you got on the table these days, man?
Like I already held up. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really excited to read Fort Psycho by Matt Kint and Brian Hurt.
Nice.
I'm one of those people that if you ask me this question, everything falls out of my brain. So I'm actually happy that I have last week's comics sitting on the table, so I can look at a few things.
Yeah.
Been enjoying some of the new Vertigo stuff, particularly The Brutal Dark by Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. But also I've got the second issue of 100 Bullets here. I'm always like 100 Bullets. One of those things where like I'm always skeptical when they come back, and you're like, oh no,
Yeah.
will they ruin it? But this one's fascinating because they're doing it in black and white with like little bits of
Whoa.
spot color.
Is it
cool.
the same team?
Yeah, Azzarello and Risso.
Whoa.
So yeah, Eduardo Risso in black and white is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so it's contemporary, and it seems to be aiming because the United States of Anger is the subtitle. So it's kind of aiming at current situations. So I'm interested to see where that's going. But I also know, Chris Conroy's editing, and he'll keep them on track. And then, I've been kind of just enjoying Patrick Kindlin's stuff.
Okay.
Tigress Island, and he had one come out today, I think, called Regicide, that I'm going to pick up. He's an interesting cat. He actually co-wrote some of the early Matthew Rosenberg stuff.
Oh, really?
Did stuff for Black Mask, but has been working on Image on his own for the last few years, and he plays with like exploitation tropes and models in ways that are very smart. So Tigress Island is about a bunch of women who get kidnapped and trafficked to some rich guy's island.
I've heard of this. Yeah. I haven't read it yet.
Who's the artist on that?
Get his name.
It's like Efk or something like that.
Weird, some weird name that I think probably is short for something.
Yeah, I picked up he had a graphic novel come out earlier this year.
Right.
I think it was called like The Huntress or something like that. Or Harpy. I think it's called Harpy, and it was from like Living the Line, like this small imprint. But I mean, it was like a thick graphic novel. I love that guy's work. It's really interesting, and I wanted to pick up that Tiger Island thing. That looked really cool. Or Tigress Island.
Tigress Island, yeah. So they're playing with exploitation, but without it being like they're doing it just so they can, show you big boobs and things. It's actually like being subversive with it because he's a very smart guy. So
Cool.
that's been one I've been keeping up with. I have a problem where I get a lot of comics and I'll read the first couple, and then by no fault of the comic, I just get distracted.
Disappears.
And I got piles and piles of unfinished series. Yeah,
That's me.
Yeah, I am the same way. It is our curse. Brian, what do you got, man? What are you reading?
Well, I'm going to take you guys on a trip back to 1993. I hunted down I'm trying to find a lot of the like old Mirage books, and Usagi Yojimbo was just a book that I haven't necessarily read a ton of, but I've always wanted to. So I tracked down the entire first run, or the entire Mirage run. So it's 13 issues of Usagi Yojimbo.
Whoa.
so I've been reading that. I think I'm on like issue 3. They bring in the turtles, and like you understand why Stan Sakai is regarded as a legend comic book creator from just reading it. I mean, just looking at the art is one thing, but actually seeing his storytelling and the way that he can flow pages together is incredible.
Wow.
It's funny because we printed those at Dark Horse, and I think your version's in color.
Yeah.
We took the color out for the trade paperbacks so that because otherwise all the other Usagis were already in black and white.
Yeah.
And then I think IDW recolored them eventually.
Yeah.
Different iterations.
I love the just the history of the book and the a samurai rabbit and all of the different characters that go along with it, and then just the history that it has, that the turtles are entangled with Usagi, I think is great too. So it was a no-brainer for me that I had to pick it up, and I had to start reading them. So yeah. What about you, Tad?
All right. Well, I'm a dirty, filthy comic book artist, which means I'm always digging in the bargain bins, get them $1. And
Oh, I
right
know.
now, the only comic book shop in Anchorage, every August, they have their back issue bins. They open them up, and it's like they just get cheaper and cheaper. Anyways, I went in there and I found this gem.
Oh, nice.
Written, edited, and illustrated by Jack Kirby. 2001 A Space Odyssey adaptation. I was shocked to find out I don't think Jack Kirby read or watched the movie or review anything about it. He just went, you know what? I'm not going to say it's a good comic, but it is visually awesome because there's just like weird cavemen running around, like spaceships. It is like a fever dream. One part existentialism, one part just like action chaos. Like it doesn't even, I don't know. I mean, like, and I got it for, $1, so it's pretty good shape.
Yeah.
It's a reader, but I'd always wanted to check it out because I'd heard that it was just like, get ready, strap in for some weirdness. And yeah, it's 100% weirdness. That was my big read for the week.
I figure I like to picture him just being like cigar in mouth, being like, "Sir, have you seen the movie?" He's like, "Yeah, kid, get out of here."
Yeah,
And
I mean,
just
like
does
you
his
can
own
kind of
thing.
see there's like all these like action sequences that I don't recall happening in the movie
Right.
at all, like tentacle
cares?
monsters and stuff. Yeah, who gives a shit. And
Let
then
Jack Kirby do what he wants.
yeah, right. I mean, when you're drawing, writing, and editing yourself, I mean, Marvel was probably just like, just go for it. And then I picked up while I was with Brian at what was that comic shop we found?
Oh, shout out to Yak Comics in Yakima, Washington, man.
Yeah, we dropped off some
Great
signed copies of Showdown, and again, they had an amazing back issue. Anyways, I got it for mostly just the cover, this amazing Brian Boland cover. But
Oh yeah.
And who found that for you?
you did, yeah,
That's
you
right.
did, and
Don't act
you
like-
know what sells me pretty much.
I do.
And then I brought you got to read it, and it's just cool. It's like these cool Angel and the Ape stories crossing over with Swamp Thing, and again, just weird stories, but it's just a collection of shorts that there's some good stuff, there's some not so good stuff, but overall, it was just like a fun jam. It was a good plain read. So, but yeah, and that's pretty much all I had this week. Oh yeah, so that's all it on my end.
All right. Do you want me to take us home?
Let's take us home, man. I think Jamie's ready to go. Get out of here.
You need to
wants
go
outta
walk
here.
that pug, man.
He's got to walk the pug. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta
All right.
eat.
You got to eat. Yeah.
Right. All right, Tiger Cubs. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked it, please subscribe. If you want to do it the easy way, just go to our website, bluetigerrevenge.substack.com, hit that subscribe button. And every time we post a new episode, be it audio, YouTube, you just get an email sent to you. We do all the work, so you don't have to. Send it to your friends, your loved ones, especially if you hate someone, send them this. Let's spread that all around. So, and then finally, Jamie Rich, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was great to chat with you for a little while. Where can folks find you, and where can they find your new book?
So I'm only on Instagram. and it's just my name, Jamie S. Rich. You can find me on Letterboxd too. Those are my only 2 social medias, and so just under my regular name. I have a website, but it hasn't been updated in forever. Ignitionpress.com is where you will find, my new book, The Dogsitter, as well as everything else we do at Ignition. We do exclusive covers for our first issues, and we do some issues that we don't put out, like some 0 issues that we only sell at conventions and online. So you can find all the Dogsitter covers there. And then I'm just kind of bopping around otherwise.
All right, guys.
Do you have any appearances coming up at any conventions?
I will be at the Boise Comics Arts Festival over Labor Day weekend, and we will have kind of a little like mini Ignition Island with you, Leah Williams, Joel Jones, Megan Levens, who drew the Dogsitter.
Oh, sweet.
So we'll be doing some stuff there, and then other than that, no, I think that's it for me this year. Not doing New York. Just I'm not a big convention guy. I'm just,
No.
So,
All right.
I'd like to do more regional ones. Yeah, like the Boise one. That's like where you actually get to talk to people.
Yeah, exactly. The one-on-one is always kind of nice instead of just mobs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
All right. Well, Tad, that is all I have. Do you have anything else?
I am all out of tiger milk, my friend.
All right. Well, if that's the case, what time is it?
Hit the music.